Kia ora! This documentary was made to share our learning journey for the film and play called Te Utu o Nga Atua, which means Revenge of the Gods, is how the story of Lake Pupuki and Rangitoto Island were born. We will share with you the learning about where we got the story from and how Nga Atua Joyce first shared the story with the Arataki students, the auditioning and selection process, our shared writing experience of the dialogue and the haka. We will discuss our learning about filming techniques, storyboarding and acting, and the museum trip where we were able to film and get some inspiration from. Then the filming of the movie itself and practice for the musical version, before looking at the process of making art and props. The documentary will finish with a few words from the actors.
The whakapapa of the story, the movie and play idea, was originated by Nga Atua J when he rewrote the story from the book Myths and Legends of Tamaki Makaurau, which was written by Edith Philip Gibson. It also incorporates aspects of the film Nga Atua J's class at Long Bay Primary made in 2018 called Te Rere o Mataaho, a story about how the other volcanoes of Auckland were made. Once we had permission from Edith Philip Gibson to rewrite the story, make a production and a movie, we started to learn about storyboards, scripts, and filming techniques. The story tells us about how a husband and wife cursed the gods for withholding the secret of fire from the people, and then the terrible consequences that followed their arrogance, which eventually led to the birth of Rangitoto Island and Lake Pupuki.
Sharing the story with the students. The first time that we heard this gurako was in the school hall. The whole of Arataki lay down or sat up and listened to Nga Atua J as he told us this incredible story. After he finished, Nga Atua J explained that this story is important to our school because it provides us with knowledge about Maori history on the local lake and mountain, two very important aspects of Maori culture. We wanted to share this knowledge with our community so that people can get a better understanding of some of the beliefs of Maori and to help people who are new to Aotearoa feel more connected with this rohi. Nga Atua J also told us about his class at Long Bay Primary and how they won awards at 2 international film competitions in 2018. The film was played all over the internet to critical acclaim, and then he asked us if we wanted to make a short film about the story. Everyone was excited about learning how to use green screen effects to make this movie, so we decided to go for it. He then told us about his class getting free subway at the Red Carpet Awards ceremony. That was all anybody could talk about after that.
Learning about how to do storyboards, scripts, and filming techniques. In these 3 weeks, Room 20, 21, and 22 rotated between the teachers to learn different filmmaking skills. In Room 20, we learned how to storyboard. Storyboarding is when you draw the different scenes from the story, but only capture the important bits. Your storyboard needs to make sense, so you have to think hard about what the important parts of the story are and how you can divide the story into 5 minutes allowed for the film. In Room 21, Faya Sam taught us some acting tips like improvising. We did some acting games before splitting into small groups and acting out different scenes. An actual script had not been written by this point, so it was a good opportunity to put in place our improvisation, acting, learning, and get a feel for the story. This also acted as the audition and selection process for the people who wanted main roles in the film and musical. In Room 22, we learned how to do different camera shots and how they can enhance the quality of our movie and the message we are sending. To finish this learning, we had an opportunity to make our own iMovie trailer. We also had our first real opportunity to use green screen technology to insert different backgrounds or animated animals in our trailer. Some of the challenges of the learning were technical difficulties associated with green screen technology. People being nervous acting in front of a crowd or not being confident with drawing. But almost everyone gave it a go, and it was a really innovative way to learn. Auditions and selection process. For this, everyone who wanted a part in the movie or documentary put their name down on the sign-up sheet, which was put on the window of room 22. After we had finished the learning about storyboarding, acting, and filming, the teachers then decided who would be the best for the roles people had auditioned for. In addition to the acting roles, people were cast in the roles of camera person, producer, special effects, and this documentary team. Everyone was very excited in the morning that the roles were to be announced. People rushed down to room 22 and tried to get a glimpse of the sign-up sheet to see if they got a role for the movie or documentary.
Writing the scripts. We used this as a shared writing lesson. Marshall Joyce read the story to us again, and then we put the storyboard on the screen. We discussed what happens in each of the scenes and what we thought the characters would say in each situation. This took quite a lot of time because there were lots of good ideas and everyone wanted to contribute. Some of the scenes were easy to write the dialogue for, but others were hard. Mata'aho's haka was really hard because we had to write it in a way that was not too hard for Matua J to translate into Te Reo Māori and not too hard for the actors to read. But we are pretty proud of it and feel that we have now contributed our ideas to the story.
Hi, this is the stage where we're doing our first filming.
The filming process. The first scene that we filmed was scene 5, the argument between Mata Kerepo and Mata Kamakama. It took a long time because it was the first filming for everyone, and sometimes the actors forgot their lines, and for a while, one of the actors had hiccups. Over the weeks, we then filmed some of the other scenes in front of the green screen, with the exception of part of scene 3, which needed to be filmed in the bushes and the Auckland Museum. As time passed, students, the camera crew, and the actors got used to the whole filming process, and the scenes started to take less time to film, and we began to experiment with the camera angles and adapting the script.
The musical version process. We wanted to ensure as many people as possible were involved in this year's production, so we decided to have a musical version of the story. Whilst we retained the same main actors for the musical, we enlisted other actors to do dance and music scenes. Fire Sam and Fire Nat were responsible for the music, and they helped us with the dance routines and adapted the script so that it ran for about 30 minutes. We spent the last 3 weeks of Term 3 practicing in the hall, creating props, costumes, and dance routines, with much of the focus being on teamwork and collaboration. Creating props and art process. One morning during the Arataki Hui, Fire Sam and Fire Nat asked the Year 6 students if any of them wanted to be in the set design and props team. A large number of students put their hands up, so it was clear that lots of people wanted to be in one of the groups. And the next day, students were chosen for the groups, and they started working on some things for the play background, like trees, water, flags, and fish, whilst the special effects team worked with Matua J. Dominic Sneyman also joined the project and brought with her a whole lot of skills around prop and set design. For example, Dominic made 6 kakaho and the special Matakamakamo kodawai that plays an important part in the story. She put in many hours alongside us to enhance our story.
Hi, this is the trip on the bus to the museum.
The Auckland Museum trip. Matua J had worked with the Auckland War Memorial Museum on Te Riri o Mata'aho and approached them to see if we were able to film inside the museum. This is not something that they usually do, so we felt very grateful and humbled when they said we could. There was a massive waka that we needed to film in front of for scene 3. Some other groups looked at Māori artifacts and explored the museum. One of the challenges that the camera crew faced was carrying the green screen, which was stapled to 2 big pieces of wood. It wasn't particularly heavy, but it was hard holding it up for the filming and carrying around all day. Thanks to everybody's hard work, we were able to get the footage we needed. Days later, Marshall J told us he had lost all the photos and videos from the museum. Luckily, he was able to recover them later in the day. Another unexpected learning experience from this project. We finished our museum trip with the Utana haka for Tom Rollins and the people of the museum as thanks for allowing us to film some of their taonga.
Kia ora, ko kona taku ingoa. My role was lead cameraman. My biggest learning was learning how to keep the camera steady on the mount. I enjoyed traveling to the museum and getting to film everything.
Kia ora, ko Jack taku ingoa. My role was the cameraman. My biggest learning was filming different angles, and I enjoyed filming with my friends the most.
Kia ora, ko Chloe taku ingoa. My role was the producer and the leader of this group. My biggest learning was organizing myself and others, and I enjoyed the most is working with other people. Atewa.
Kia ora, ko Emily taku ingoa. My role was being Mati Kerapo. My biggest learning was being able to act properly, and I enjoyed pushing myself the most.
Kia ora, ko Sanu taku ingoa. My role was Mat Kamukamu, and he is the chief. My biggest learning was to act and be serious, and I enjoyed acting with my friends and learning.
We are really proud of this 3-pronged approach to our production this year, and we feel that by having a documentary that discusses our learning, a musical and a short film, we are being really innovative in how we share our learning stories. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed.